So, my pretties, I decided to go ahead and do a discussion video on this TV series, which is an educational animated TV series called Arthur. Now, Arthur, I know for a fact, ended this year. So, I thought I would go ahead and basically, give out what my personal opinions and thoughts about this series. This series, Arthur, was based on the books that Mark Brown started illustrating and writing them for kids and alike. So, this episode of Arthur, the final episode, shows all the gang grown up and adults, which, I mean, I predicted that was going to be the case. Others predicted, that they were going to be, in middle school or something, but I predicted that they were going to be adults. Even before I heard this series was ending, I always predicted that would be the case. And now, since Arthur ended this year, I'm deciding to, give them my thoughts on this TV series. Now, this one was originally, by WGBH TV, which basically was broadcasting it along with Montreal Cinar, now Wild Brain or something. I don't remember. I could be wrong. Now, the series of the animated series started around 1994 when they started producing the episodes, and they were started releasing them in 1996. And of course, there is a pilot of the spin-off series called Postcards from Bustard that aired in 2003 as season 8 episode of Arthur, where Postcards from Buster aired from 2004 to 2008. And the series faced several years of hiatus till a brief revival in 2012, only to be canceled after 3 unseen episodes have been held off after the show's first season. Now, that's from Postcards from Buster, which is basically a spinoff of the Arthur series. But yeah, with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and explain the series before we get started. But basically, I want to go through the series now. I do plan to do Shadows and Praise episodes where I talk about each season of Arthur. I know I did a episode where I talk about Arthur's Perfect Christmas, which I don't think I did it that episode last year during Christmas, but I believe it was 2020. Or maybe it was last year during Christmas time. I can't remember. I don't keep up track at times with Shadows and Pretties, and that's kind of why I'm forgetful that way. But with that being said, Arthur has been airing for like 25 years until the final episode on February 21st, 2022, concluding after 25 years. However, though, the show will continue to have new content on PBS Kids on the video app. I wonder if they're going to be. I think they're pretty sure they're going to be doing reruns of the show on TV because this show has been, on for a very long time. Like, it's been on for like 25 years, and that is very surprising. Although Arthur is a TV show that focuses on, life lessons such as asthma, dyslexia, cancer, especially the one where Mrs. McGrady got cancer, diabetes, autism spectrum disorder, and also encourages, relationships with families by and friends by explaining to people about different personalities and stuff. It was the longest running children's animated series, and it was the second longest running animated series alongside Behind the Fox's The Simpsons. So this basically is about a character named Arthur Reed, who is an anthropomorphic brown aardvark who lives in a fictional town of Elwood City. He basically is a third grade student at Lakewood Elementary School. Arthur's families include two home-working parents, with his dad being a chef and his mom an accountant. His two younger sisters, DW or Dora Winifred Reed, who was in preschool till she goes to kindergarten, and Kate, who is still an infant. He has a dog named Pal, and he has several friends who come to diverse, backgrounds. He also occasionally meets with members of his extended family, which, I mean, they only play out. Basically, the main character is Arthur, and it involves him along with his friends. Like, most episodes, they learn about, illnesses. I remember they made one on cancer. They also have, like, portray life lessons for kids to learn and understand, certain things, which I think Arthur did a pretty good job on doing that, especially the subject matter of cancer when Miss McGrady, was diagnosed with cancer. They actually tackled that subject very well. I know Sesame Street, for a fallen fact, did stuff like that similar. I know Sesame Street's tackled, hard topics like that. But I am very impressed that Arthur was able to do so. Because I've watched Arthur's, I guess, since the early 2000s. I started watching Arthur, and I've watched all the episodes from the 90s, I think up till 2012 or something, because later on, I think the show started to use Flash animation, and the show in Flash animation started to not really look good. Well, that's just my opinion, though, but I respect people's opinions because your opinion might be different on that. So, of course, basically, Elwood City is portrayed as a largely suburban area, which bears with a strong resemblance to the Boston area. Now, the TV series is partially produced by WGBH. Of course, there's no film references. There's also film references to Brown's hometown, Erie, Pennsylvania. Most notably, the local shopping mall in the TV show is called Milk Creek Mall, as a reference to that. Brown himself also stated that the series was influenced by his upbringing as a child in Erie, and especially noted that Mr. Ratburn is based on a middle school algebra teacher that he had at Westlake Middle School, which probably explains, why Mr. Ratburn, was a tough teacher at school. I mean, I know teachers have to be tough at times, but having a teacher like Mr. Ratburn all the time, that kind of blows. What I mean by that is that kind of maybe makes no sense. Why giving homework to students every day? I mean, I understand that, they want students to learn about what stuff at home that teachers can't really teach if they don't have time or something. But sometimes homework can really, stress a student out. And having homework every day like that, I don't think that's really fair to have it every single day, especially over the weekend and all that. Like in my school, my teacher doesn't give, well, my teacher does give out homework, but not, every single day or something, unless said otherwise. So, with that being said, the series has been going on for a long time, and the show has, did a lot of pretty, great starring guests in it as well. Like, we mainly got the main characters for Arthur and, all the gang and that. So, like, we got, Arthur's gang, and we still, I mean, the characters are still pretty good for what they are. I mean, some of them are annoying. Like, I know for a fact DW can be annoying bitch at times, but I still find her to be a pretty good character nevertheless. However, there are some celebrity guests that did, appear in Arthur. So I remember Mr. Rogers or Fred Rogers made himself an appearance in Arthur Meets Mr. Rogers episode. I remember, seeing Mr. Rogers in Arthur, an episode of Arthur, sometime before he died in 2003, which was like a few years back. I think that episode was made in 2000 or 1999. I can't remember. But yeah, he made his appearance in that one. So I know there's other for celebrities that do make their appearance in Arthur. I honestly can't really don't know. Most of these I don't even recognize except for, Matt Damon Matt Damon, well, one of them. I do know a few celebrities that do make their appearance in it. Like Matt Damon, who was himself in the making of Arthur. Fred Rogers appeared in an episode called Arthur Meets Mr. Rogers. In Shelter from the Storm, we meet Idina Menzel. I think that's how you pronounce her last name or something. She's the voice actress for Elsa in Frozen, but she's also Elphaba in the Wicked play from Broadway. She was in an episode of Arthur, which I mean, I remember, recognizing her voice sounds like Elsa, and that's kind of how I found her voice to be familiar. I mean, I only recognize Fred Rogers, Matt Damon, and Idina Menzel in, Arthur when they made guest star appearances. Each episode of Arthur ran about a half an hour long, which is basically 30 minutes. So it contains 11 minutes short stories, where the episode usually starts off with one character's, usually Arthur, speaking about the audience towards a situation, with the story followed by a title card, where the episodes are separated by 1 to 2 minute live action, intermission called Now from the World as Kids, or in this case is as a more title specific from its contents. The live action segments almost always feature children from elementary school and greatly in the Boston area. So, of course, later on, Arthur has dealt with, some situations, at least some guidance, such as bedwetting, which, I mean, it's pretty normal for kids to, wet their beds as a kid, but they get over that as they get older. They also had like one Arthur episode called Same Sex Marriage, also known as, gay marriage, where we find out that Mr. Ratburn was actually gay, which he marries another man named Patrick. However, though, surprisingly, that episode of Arthur, the one where Mr. Ratburn gets married and we find out he's gay, that episode had a lot of controversy going on. And I mean, there's videos of, of the episode where Arthur's teacher is gay. I always thought he was a straight person, when I was younger when watching the episode. But until I found out Mr. Ratburn was gay, I'm like, oh, he's not straight. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with, characters in TV shows being gay, lesbian, or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they portrayed the LGBTQ characters in Loud House. If you remember, one of the sisters named Luna Loud, she's bisexual as she's with a girl named Sam. I mean, I don't see any problem with Luna being a bi. Like, I mean, I know a couple people who are bisexual as well, and other people who are in the LGBTQ community. And I have no problem with that. No problem with that whatever at all. But the fact that yeah, the one thing I could definitely say was the fact that, that episode where it's revealed that Mr. Ratburn's gay. Yeah, besides the controversy, I heard and I believe it was banned in a couple countries. That episode of Arthur was banned in a couple countries, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case for Arthur, to ban that episode in certain countries. Because I think some of them were not, LGBTQ friendly or something. I believe that's from something what that is. I could be wrong though, but you guys can, correct me in the comments below about that. I don't really find, the reason why Mr. Ratburn being gay is a problem at all. Like, I never had that issue. especially in Arthur. Overall, what I have to say is I like the animation back, when it was hand drawn, in the 90s, early 2000s, and that. I think sometime, I believe in 2010 or 2011 or something, or maybe it was after that, we also get to see, that the animation is now replaced with flash animation. And it doesn't really look great, especially with something that's been originally traditionally hand drawn. I mean, that's just my opinion personally. Although some episodes that are flash animated are okay, some of them are okay, others are not that great. That's just my opinion, but I'm willing to respect people's opinion regardless, though. That I can definitely say that now. But of course, the spin show of Postcards from Buster, the station had declined to broadcast that episode of Postcards from Buster where he has a friend that has two mothers, and that's basically two women who are lesbians. Yeah, there was controversy on that one as well. So, anyways, I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm just gonna sit here and basically go through along the lines of, despite that, I honestly think Arthur is a pretty good show, especially with, the concept and, how well they are well made in it. Although Arthur did make his like little appearance in like parody appearance in well South Park, if you remember. I kind of remember they did that in South Park, which I mean, I wasn't really surprised that they did that. So, of course, Arthur did some parodies to pulp culture as well in the show. Like, I remember seeing a couple of them, they parody some, shows. Like, I do remember they did parodies and references to pulp culture. I remember they did South Park, The Waltons, Dexter's Laboratory at one point. I remember they did one on Beavis and Butthead and Indiana Jones and the James Bond films. I remember they pretty much made references to those. I probably remember this. I don't know how many of you guys remember that, but they did something like that with Law and Order, The Twilight Zone. But I remember the most, they did one on Titanic, like reference Titanic or something, Jaws, The Wizard of Oz. I do remember they actually did, a couple spoofs of the TV, you know, of the TV series. One where, Mary Moo Cow is basically a spoof of Barney, and they did kind of like a, you know, I think they kind of did, what was it? I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. They did one where, in one episode where Mr. Ratburn stays with the Reeds for a while, where, they watch, a series called Spooky Poo or something. Pretty much a parody of Scooby-Doo, which I thought that was pretty neat. That was actually one of the reasons why I liked that episode was, the fact they parodize Scooby-Doo with Spooky Poo, which I thought that was neat. Overall, I have to say the original animated, hand-drawn characters were good. The flash animation of the characters, not really, to be honest. I don't really care for the fact that, later episodes started to change into, instead of just using the regular hand drawn, they ended up going over and start using flash animation. I didn't really care for the flash animation part about Arthur, to be honest. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why it's just like that. Yet again, I mean, that's just how I think personally, and that's just my opinion. Yet again, you guys can state your own thoughts and opinions on it, and like I said, I mean, I held nothing against you guys if you like the flash animation of Arthur, but I've always preferred the traditional hand drawn. And I mean, if you don't like Arthur in general, I completely respect your opinion. I've got nothing against you guys if you like Arthur. If you don't like him, that's fine. If you like him, that's fine too, because I personally thought Arthur was a great show as a kid. I do plan to do Shadows and Pretties episodes of Arthur where I basically review the whole TV series. I just don't know when I'll be able to get to that, but I will consider doing that in the near future. If you guys think I should go ahead and do that, feel free to state your opinions about that in the comments below. I think I should go ahead and do that, and if you think I should, feel free to leave me your thoughts in the comments. So, I guess this video, I'm gonna try not to make it, half an hour long. It's already at 20 minutes. But I could certainly say it's a good show. I recommend you watch it. I mean, if you want to rewatch the show, feel free to. I recommend you watch it if you've not seen it. But I'm sure most of us remembers growing up with it as a kid. I remember reading the books when I was a kid and even watching the series as a kid as well. I mean, when I look at these episodes, I remember so much as, when I was a kid, when the show was actually pretty good and, all that. But the traditional hand-drawn animation is better. The Flash animation of it, not really. It doesn't look good. That's just my opinion. But yeah. And what do you guys think of Arthur? Do you like all of them? Do you not? Also, what would you have done personally to help make Arthur better? Feel free to leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're new to this channel, feel free to leave me your thoughts and even comments in the comments below. Leave a like if you're new. Hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload. So that way you will get notified to when I upload. And as always, I guess I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out. And I'll see you all next time.